I don't know why we have this gatekeeping culture in Zim. So I don't have I can't really say I have relationships with people in Zim in the industry, because there's a huge gatekeeping culture that's not really spoken about. But hey, listen, one thing that I made sure that I did for my brand was that I built it internationally first, and then I came back to Zim. It's so funny that I'm more well known internationally than in Zimbabwe, and that's only because of simple things such as gatekeeping.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Moments with Nyengeterai. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you so much to this community, the likes, the subscription, and the comments, especially the comments. I'm really, really enjoying listening to your comments and just the people that you want us to interview. And today, a lot of you have been talking about food, nutrition, and everything. And I have an amazing guest who is into food as well. And as you know, that with Moments with Nyengeterai, when you look at one of the pillars, it's about your health and your well-being. And today I'm so excited to have a young lady called Chef Kola. Hi, Chef Kola, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. You know what? We were stalking you, obviously. We were stalking you and looking at this, and we thought, wow, this is interesting. And coincidentally, our viewers were asking, can you get someone who talks about vegan food? And I was like, oh, interesting, because I always thought vegan with very few people. My daughter is vegan, and I was like, are there that many people who are? But surprisingly, they are. So Chef Kola, tell us a bit about yourself. Who's Chef Kola? What's your real name?
Oh, yeah.
and who is Chef Kola?
All right. Real name is Nicola. That's where Cola comes from. It was a nickname that I got given in high school, so I just stuck with it, and it sounded cooler than Chef Nicola. And a lot of people cannot pronounce my name; they pronounce it Nicola, so I rather say Cola. Who I am, what can I say? Born in Zimbabwe, raised by a single mom, raised also in New York City, lived there for a couple of years, moved back to Zim to finish my education. Then when I moved to Cape Town, that's when my culinary journey started, because I went to college for hospitality management, and it was a 3-year program. And during the 3-year program, one of the things that you had to do was work in the kitchen. So I worked in the kitchen for about 10 weeks at some point during the 3 years, and I realized that I don't want to be a hotel manager, I want to be a chef. So one of the good things for us to graduate hospitality school was that you had to go find your own job for 6 months. So when I was looking online for a job, I found a job in a vegan restaurant. And that vegan restaurant happened to be one of South Africa's top traditional vegan restaurants still to date. And they knew when I walked in that I wasn't a vegan, and I knew nothing about veganism. I was just looking for a job. So it was a classic out of a movie story. I washed the dishes, and while I was washing the dishes, I was stealing with my eyes, watching what the other chefs were doing. I got an opportunity to work in the kitchen finally, and long story short, I worked there for 5 years, but by the time I left I entered washing dishes, and then I left as the head chef of that restaurant. So that's when the vegan journey started, and I really started to put some respect on it, because I realized that, one, it's a niche market that's going to be an industry that's going to grow. At that time, I already could see that it was going to grow. And then 2, I'll probably be one of the few Black people doing it. And this is quite unique. So after I worked at the restaurant as the head chef, I kind of got bored. I get bored really easily. And then I started my company, African Vegan on a Budget. And that was based in South Africa. And then I moved it to Zimbabwe. And when I moved it to Zimbabwe, classic story, everyone laughed at me. They're like, there's no such thing as...
Exactly, I can imagine, especially at home. Like, I mean,
my mom.
Your mom, is she vegan? And what did she say when you first told her, that you wanted to go vegan?
She didn't understand it, but she didn't understand the business model. And then with time, when, for example, when I brought it to Zimbabwe, I wanted to get people to understand that there's something vegan in Zim, but I didn't have a restaurant. So I started this thing called Dinners with Chef Cola. And I would charge literally $2, beg people to come. Like even my celebrity friends, everyone just beg people to come. And people would come but still laugh and say, Sha, there's no such thing as a meal without
meat. I mean,
and I'm just like in my head, I'm an international qualified chef at that time now. And this is a 6-course vegan meal. And it was amazing. Up until CNN came to film a dinner with Chef Cola here in Zimbabwe. And then BBC also came to film a dinner with Chef Cola, that people started to be like, okay, maybe there's something that's working here. That's when my mom was just like, okay, so explain a little bit more into detail what type of business model you're trying to run. And doing the dinners with Chef Cola and just going into places like schools, restaurants, and even private things, just cooking for people, my brand started to grow. So I hope I answered your question.
Wow.
Yeah,
you did in so many ways. And from there, I just want to probably just break some few things that you spoke about and just go deeper. First of all, when you walked in that restaurant, all you wanted to do was
get
work.
A job.
Yeah. And then you walked out as head chef and you were vegan by the time you walked out.
No, so I'm plant-based. I'm not vegan. I'm plant-based.
Okay, can you explain? Let's
break down the whole.
Let's break down plant-based, vegan,
vegetarian.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people ask, the number one question is, what's the difference between a vegetarian and a vegan? So a vegetarian can eat the byproducts of an animal. So that's your milk, your eggs, your cheese, but they won't eat the animal. A vegan now won't eat the byproducts and also won't eat the animal. So that's the difference. That's the main difference. So someone on a plant-based, you can break it down. You can say that 95% of their meals consist of plants and fruits and grains, and then probably just a little bit of something else that's not.
Yeah. Okay, so you are not vegan, but you are plant-based.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now it makes sense. I understand now. Okay. So let's go back now to, you walked in that restaurant, but when you walked in, you were eating meat.
Yes.
What led you to become plant-based? Why? I mean, why did you decide?
Honestly, when I walked into that restaurant, I had no respect about the vegan culture. I just wanted a paycheck and to graduate. But learning more about the main reasons why people go on vegan experiences made me put some respect on it, and learning more about the meat industry, and especially talking to vegans, and I'm asking them, okay, why? And then seeing a bunch of videos and things, that's what led me to do that. But then also, I'm a vegan because I'm a vegan chef, not because I love animals. That's one of the main reasons people are vegan, for the love of animals. But a lot of things that people don't speak about is that people of color should actually be on vegan diets. I have this statement that I say that veganism originated in Africa, and people are like, how does that make sense?
Exactly, how does that make sense?
So when I say veganism originated in Africa, well, our ancestors were not eating as much meat as we are today. And it's through colonial practices that we learned how to eat as much meat that we do today. So if I go to my gogo, and I was privileged enough to meet my great-grandmother, she was on a plant-based diet. Gogo right now is also on a plant-based diet. It's these meat-eating practices that we've learned that meat equals wealth. If you don't have meat on your plate, then it doesn't make sense. So that's why I always say veganism originated in Africa. And also why I say people of color should be on vegan diets is that, for example, one in Africa, or particularly in Zimbabwe, a lot of us are actually on plant-based diets. There's no money to be eating meat for 3 courses every single day. That's a luxury and a privilege. There's no electricity. So people are choosing not to buy meat every single day, or economical reasons. We just can't afford it. So when we go to the doctors as people of color, a lot of the time, I hate to say this, but it's been proven, a white doctor will not take as much time on a black patient than a white person. And if they take a little bit more time and care, maybe these diseases that we have wouldn't be really affecting us. And then when a white person goes to the doctor always recommends, oh no, why don't you go on a vegan diet? Why don't you go on a plant-based diet? They never recommend that to Black people or people of color because what they think that no, Black people love chicken. That's all we love. So that's why I'm trying to promote vegan diets and healthy lifestyles amongst Black people. And a lot of my business actually grew after COVID because now people were actually caring about their health and what they're putting into their body. So yes, I do this vegan thing for the love of animals. I love animals, climate change, etc. But then it's also mainly to for people of color so that we can highlight these things because these are things that we don't really speak about.
Very true. So tell me, you came back, you were begging people to buy your food and no one wanted to buy your food. And then all of a sudden, CNN, BBC, how did that opportunity come about? What did you do for them to take notice of you,
Honestly, I can honestly say it's God because I did, it's not like I had a large number of followers. Even now, my following is quite, it could be better. And one day I want my followings to grow organically. So I'm happy with the numbers that I have right now on social media. So that opportunity was literally sent from God. And I can honestly just say social media, even if you don't have 100,000 followers, post. You never know who's watching or that's just it. You never know who's watching. Make sure that you create content that's within your business brand and model. So that's how I got people to follow me. So I'd have a dinner and then I'll make sure that I'll get BTS of the dinner. I'll make sure that people would see me cooking the meals, film my guests, put everything out there in a positive light. And that's how those opportunities came about. And saying that you never know who's watching. Also, you never know who's talking about you. So that's how those opportunities came about.
Oh, yeah. Wow. How was the experience with BBC and, how was the experience? What did you learn? What are the learnings that you got from out of that?
Professionalism. For example, the first time CNN came and they were filming in the kitchen, filming the food, I was learning how they shoot with their cameras out, which angles that they use to film the food, what shots that they want. So professionalism, attention to detail. That's one thing that I learned working with these big brands. And till today, I still work with them and speak with them. So it's an opportunity.
That's really fantastic. So one of the things that I loved when we were stalking you was what attracted me to you actually was, besides the fact that my daughter is vegan, my middle daughter, she's vegan. And also when she became vegan, we were shocked because she was the biggest meat eater, or besides me, she was one of the biggest meat eaters in the house. And we thought initially it was a joke. But now it's almost like, 8 years later?
Yeah.
And she doesn't eat meat at all.
Yeah.
But what really attracted us to your page was when you talked about vegan on a budget. Let's go there.
So I named my brand African Vegan on a Budget because when they see the word budget, they think that I'm minimizing the quality of the food. No, on the budget part means it can be on your $1 million budget, on your $1,000 budget, or whichever budget you want. So it's African Vegan on a Budget because of that. So the name, literally, I have to give props to my mom because she helped me kind of figure it out. I also have a company called African Inspired Dreams, and then she also helped me name that. So African Vegan on a Budget, my mom also helped me name that, and that's just the story behind that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. And in terms of, like, when you look at your meal plan, what kind of meal plan do you, like, take me through a meal plan, breakfast to dinner, that you would give someone?
Again, it depends on their budget. So if they are having...
Let's talk, because people are tight with money now. Yeah. Let's talk a normal family.
Yeah, I was about to give you like a tofu breakfast, and I'm like, who buys tofu?
So we're talking normal family, not... I don't know. Do you even have middle class? Yeah, no, I don't know. Just a normal family. Yeah. What would you recommend? Let's say breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. Okay. So Zimbabwe breakfast, we would have, we can do fat cooks that don't have the milk and the whatever, and some soup. That's what I usually cook at this camp that I used to work for these soldiers. So you would have your fat cooks and some soup. That's your breakfast. You can add some beans in it. sugar beans or those cool beans, whichever ones you want, if you want to get some more protein. Lunchtime, yeah, you're putting me on the spot, man. I'm making a whole menu right now. Like lunchtime. I don't know. Lunchtime we'll probably do like an easy stir fry. That's easy with vegetables because vegetables are the most affordable thing these days. And then dinner time, since we're Zimbabwean, tushka sadza, muriwo, and something like that. Yeah, but then it all depends on what you like to eat and what's in your fridge and your budget. So it's very hard to make a menu of on the spot. Yeah.
Do you use a lot of local, like our green? You know how we got your kovo, tunga, darara. Do you utilize that a lot?
Yes, a lot of cabbages, a lot of kovo, a lot of beans. When I go shopping for gigs, instead of going into the supermarket to buy my vegetables, I go to the musikas and support these people on the sides of the roads, and I buy in bulk. And then I've learned, like, don't go surprise them on the day saying, no, I need 100 tomatoes. Go a day before, a few days before, and say, no, I need this on my list, and then I'm going to come and get it from you. And so supporting these people on the streets is very important. So that's what I do. Yeah.
As a child, like when you're growing up, what did you think you were going to become? I mean, what was your greatest desire? Because, you know, and then how did you end up in Cape Town doing culinary school?
All right, that's a good question. I wanted to be two things. So growing up in New York, the New York Knicks basketball team was like one of my mom's things to watch every single, when the NBA season was on, we always used to watch basketball. So I naturally thought that I was going to be a WNBA basketball player, and I wish I would have followed that through. Like, I would have probably been a basketball player. And then one of the first things I ever wanted to be was a sniper. I don't know why, but then I have bad eyes, so that dream was just didn't work out. And I don't know why. I really wanted to be a sniper. And then the whole chef thing, I knew I was going to be a chef by the time I was 16, because growing up in best of both worlds, so you're staying in America, it's New York City, it's the vida loca. And then you come back to Zim, things are kind of, you know. So I was just like, to my twin, I want to be a chef. I remember walking down the road when I was 16, and I was just like, I just want to be a chef so I can eat what I want whenever I want and feed people. And it's so funny now because I'm a chef and I eat whatever I want. And I work a lot in rural and urban communities. And in the rural communities, I have a lot of school feeding programs. Also programs that teach you also how to fish. So we're just not giving you food, coming into the school and giving them food. We're speaking to the parents, creating business opportunities, garden programs. And let's say, for example, we teach someone how to create a garden that's going to make them money. We just don't stop there. We also teach them how to go speak to suppliers, get suppliers, and continue so that you grow. So that's one of the other many, many things that they do.
Oh, wow, that is very interesting. Actually, can you take me more on that CSR that you're doing? Because I think what I love about what you just said is the fact that you are not just giving people fish, but you're teaching them how to fish. And in the process, not only that, they're also learning where to get stuff. So just tell me a bit more about working with the communities. What exactly are you doing? What type of communities? How do people reach you if they want to be part of this program?
So it's not even a program. It's just like a passion thing that I just do. So I going a lot into farming communities because that's when you get your homestands. And when I wanted to reach veganism in both urban and rural, so I used to, and I still do, I go into this community. One of them is in Vuri, and it's a farming community. So I tell them, okay, on this day I'm coming in, and we're just going to sit and have a sports day. So I actually have a soccer team in that farm, in that little area. We're going to have a sports day, and we're also going to, please tell the children to come. We're going to give the children meals and food, and it's all going to be vegan. And then with the women and even the men, if they're not on the sports sides of things, then we come into the kitchen and let me teach you how to make vegan food and just train on how to be a vegan chef. So a lot of people, one or two of them, have actually gotten jobs in the culinary industry because of recommendations saying, no, I've actually been trained by a professional, skilled chef, and that's teaching them how to fish is very important. And then also, if we have a garden program, it's all well said and done. Going into a community, creating a beautiful garden for them, put in a borehole. Yeah, cool. But then at the end of the day, they're going to start fighting over that garden. Who owns that garden? No, not you. You can only come and get vegetables at this time. Da 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 da. So teach them how to sell their vegetables, and everyone has their own thing. And then once you get suppliers, because in those areas, my family has a farm in that side, so we know which suppliers to go to. Most of the stuff that's grown in farm communities are bought actually by the locals, but they actually don't reach this side because the locals buy them up. So just teaching people how to make money is very important. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so your mom and your twin. You said you're a twin.
Yes, I have a twin brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the older sister. Yeah.
Oh. Are they vegan?
No.
Have you tried to convince them?
No, it's so funny, but then we're all in the creative spaces. So my sister is a fashion designer. My brother is a graphic designer, and I'm a chef.
Wow.
Yes.
And your mom?
She's a fashion designer. And an interior designer also.
Oh, yeah. So you're all in the creative space.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. And you've never tried to convince them to become vegan, or they just, yeah.
Nah. They eat what they want to eat. Like, nah.
And when it's your duty to cook, they eat what you've cooked.
When I was staying at home, because now I stay by myself, it was my duty to cook, but then I'd also be responsible for cooking the meats, because they'll be like, just because you're a vegan chef, it doesn't mean we raised you, we taught you how to cook meat. So responsibilities are responsibilities, especially in an African home. Yeah.
Okay. So do you ever, let's say you have an opportunity to go and cook, and then have you ever had a time where maybe you've gone and you're only making maybe vegan food, and then someone says, oh, please, can you make meat? Have you ever had that happen, and what do you do? And
I've never had that happen to me, but I was hosting an event, a vegan event, because I do a lot of pop-up events in different restaurants and stuff. Someone came holding a beef burger, and then they came to greet me, and I was just like, are you out of your there's cameras, people here, like put some respect on my brand. Like, don't do that. So that not requested for me to cook meat, but then them just like, I think this is gonna be a very funny joke, and I'm like, it's not funny.
It's so funny. Yeah. My brand.
This is my brand.
You can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What have been your biggest lessons in terms of since you became a vegan chef? What have been your biggest lessons, and especially that transition when you're coming from South Africa and coming back to Zim? What were your biggest learnings then, and what are your biggest learnings currently now, and biggest lessons since you've been a vegan chef for so many years?
I think the most consistent lesson, biggest, is that I'm speaking about is as a brand. So don't build your brand in your circle of family and friends, because your friends and family are only going to support you to the level that they're comfortable at seeing you win. So and even your friends and your family, like once you're just a little bit, they'll be like, no, I can't support you because now, da da da. So one of the most important things that perfect example, when I was hosting dinners with Chef Cola at my mom's house, there'll be times when she'll be like, oh, your dinner is today. Okay, fine, you can have the dinner. We agree on the date, whatever. Mom and daughter fight happens. She'll be like, I don't want people in my house. And but I've advertised this. And you're like, you see, so friends and family, don't build your brand around your friends and family. And that's one thing that has made my brand successful. Even when I host events, two things happen. Most of the people who come, I've never seen. And then most of the people who come, 98% of them are not even vegan. They are just coming to support. So that's one big lesson. Two is that don't be too fast to build a team. Like, oh no, I'm getting too busy. I need a secretary, and then I need someone to do social media. Build it very, very slowly. I started African Vegan on a budget in 2016. It's 2024 now. It's only this year that I've gotten my first 3 permanent employees, and I had to do it slowly and just kind of figure people out. I'm like, okay, fine. I see you're good at when I have events, you're good in the kitchen. You can help me with that. You're good at receiving people, making sure the money is taken care of. One or two events, and then I'm building a relationship with this person to the point that even in the beginning, they would only work with me once or twice a year. Now in 2024, full-time job, full-time salary. So build your team very, very slowly, because I noticed like in our mom's generation, they're domestic workers. They stay until they choose to leave. But now our generation, we have this thing where we're not respecting friendships and relations anymore. So make sure that everything that you do in your business, every relation that you have in your business, even from the person who's making your stickers, your graphics, make sure that relationship is kept cool, because you'll meet them on the way down. Life is a funny circle. It's up and down. So people, one season you're up, one season you're down. Another lesson, I guess, one thing that I try to do, my last thing off the top of my head is that sometimes don't look at other people's, just because she's got 20,000 followers, 100,000 followers, or she's always being posted on social media. You don't know what that person is doing to get that. So stay in your lane and stick with God. That's it. Yeah.
How has your spirituality, I see you talk a lot about God, how has your spirituality been? Like, what is the role of your spirituality in terms of your life, your work, and just the person that you've become now?
I'm a spiritual person, but if you tell me to like say 10 Bible verses, I'll be like, what? I cannot. But then I believe a lot in spiritual currency. So in the sense that God is the biggest creative. Look at nature. So you have to, why wouldn't you be a creative? God created us and he's the biggest creator. Two, when I say spiritual currency, being nice to people and everything is energy exchange, and it comes down here. So I don't know. My mom actually never raised me in the church. By the time I was 10, she gave me a decision with my siblings saying, do you want to go to church or do you want to stay home? We stayed home. And then we found, I can't speak for my siblings. I found God by myself. And my relationship, I don't know, because the way my career has just done this, like even the other day, I was speaking on a Forbes stage, and I was just like, that's not normal. Like, there's bigger chefs, bigger people with bigger experiences, and I didn't call for it. They looked for me, headhunted. Everything I do, I'm always headhunted. So it can't be anyone else besides God.
That is so true. That is, I resonate so much with that, because sometimes I get surprised by the people who reach out to me, and even like, especially when you talk of numbers. I mean, we've just started this podcast and everything, but in terms of impact and the people who've been saying they've been impacted, and so which means we're doing something right, and looking for people like you who've got a story. So I think the authenticity of your story is what is really, this is what I love about your story, and why we also handed you make sure that you'd come on the show. You talked about building your team slowly. And I think I really like that, and the impact of relationships that you talked about. Tell me about how important relationships have been for you in terms of your growth as well as a brand.
Relationships with who?
Relationships with just people, whoever, whether it's other people in the industry or just, but the impact of relationships.
In the industry is a tricky one, because I don't know why we have this gatekeeping culture in Zim. So I don't have, I can't really say I have relationships with people in Zim, in the industry, because there's a huge gatekeeping culture that's not really spoken about. But hey, listen, one thing that I made sure that I did for my brand was that I built it internationally first, and then I came back to Zim. It's so funny that I'm more well known internationally than in Zimbabwe, and that's only because of simple things such as gatekeeping. They'll be like, no, we can't use Chef Cola, rather got to use it Ningi because Ningi is related to Ningi, and I've known them since 1947, so we've got to use them. So I keep my distance from the industry, and it's not a secret because, guys,
The gatekeeping is bad.
we need to do better.
Yeah, so about to say, what do you think needs to be done to improve on that?
Stop making. There's so much talent in this industry that, because of this whole gatekeeping, is robbing Zimbabwe and the world of our talent to be seen. So giving people fair opportunities and rotation, and start calling people out. Like, yo, man, if something happens to me and I don't like it, I voice it, or I walk away. Simple. So just to start, it's the era of technology. That's why you see all of these things coming out, and it's the era of information and the age of the Aquarian. So a lot of things are gonna come out. So, and if we can't call people out, that's the problem. There's the gatekeepers, and then people are too shy to call people out. So start calling people out. That's the only way it's gonna end.
Don't you think it's a cultural thing? Doesn't it? Don't you think it maybe stems from Shona culture or African culture?
Yeah.
Do you think it stems from there?
Fish. Nah, people are just evil and jealous and petty. Yeah, we can't, because the Shona culture and the African culture is a beautiful culture. So, it's just people just not being nice. Yeah. Okay. We gotta be real. Yeah.
No, that's true. No, we have to be real, because I think it's so important that we come to the grips of that, because I think a lot of things are just swept under the carpet, or just said, oh, well, let's just leave it. And then I think it's time that we start having these honest conversations, because that's the only way the country can change and the world can change and become big and become better. But do you find that it's mostly the young people or the older people, or is it just general?
Oh, man. I love the I'm a 2000 generation, because I am not a part of that generation. I was born in the 80s. So they are very open, and they don't even do the whole gatekeeping thing. Like, if one person is having an event, the whole community comes together. The elder generation now, I'm gonna call it out. Those are the gatekeepers. Let's make way in the industry and create opportunities and new life. You know, so. Not everyone in the elder generation is a gatekeeper. There are some people within positions of power who are still continuing to create opportunities, but then we still have to do better. Yeah.
And I truly believe that. And if we could do better, what would come out, you know, and the amount of creativity, and because now food has become such a big thing, you know, because before we just eat at home, and you know, but now going out. The food culture is so big, but at the same time you find the same kind of like faces everywhere, and the support. That's where I want to go next.
Yeah.
How has the support been in terms of from fellow blacks or fellow white or other white
everyone
people? How's your support like
for my career?
For your brand?
It's been okay. Like, from both cultures, I guess. Like, but you know, like, as Zimbabweans, so, like, let's say for example, we just have to be real. Like, you post something, and then it's like an amazing thing, and then they won't like it. But when they see it, they're like, yo, bro, you're doing amazing things. I saw that post that you posted, and then you go back and I'm like, but you didn't like it.
You didn't like it, you didn't share it. You didn't like it, you didn't share it.
Like,
you know, yeah.
So I guess that's support. Like, when they see you and say, I see you, congratulations, but then we can do better. Yeah, it can be better. And at the same time, like, I think it's like that New York mentality of mine that I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for me. So whether you like me or not, I'm still going to do it. So I don't really watch that, but then, it could be better. And I see that that just baffles me when you post something and then they don't like it, and then it can be because they don't want to show your support out loud too loudly. Remember what I was saying, that you can be okay, but you can't be Yeah.
So they want to secretly support you, but they don't want to outwardly support you.
And sometimes if you go deeper with that, it's because of the things that they probably said outwardly to people when you weren't in that room. So you gotta think, like, and that's why you always have to just rely on your spiritual currency. Yeah.
No, that's so true. You know, and that what you're saying, surprisingly, I was having a conversation with one of the young girls that I mentor, and she was saying that she finds that she gets a lot more support from strangers than even her own. She was like, none of my friends. She said, I did an audit. It was so funny the way she said. She said, you know, Mrs. Mahaka, I did an audit of the people who like my posts, the people who share my posts, and the people who even talk about me. Like, and I realized that it's a lot of strangers who are sharing my posts, or even referrals. When someone says, "Oh, I was referred to you," it's never any of my friends. And then she said, I actually out and said to my friends, "But how come you guys don't support?" And they said, "Oh, but you know we support you."
No, you see, that's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like, do not. One of the most important things as a Zimbabwean who's an entrepreneur, do not build your brand with your friends and your family, because they will gaslight you. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it's so interesting because it was like within 2 days, because it was 2 days ago when I was mentoring on Tuesday. When we actually had this conversation. So anyway, to round off our conversation, we have some fun questions that I just want to ask. So, tell me, what's your favorite color and why?
Good question. I'm such a weird person. Let me be honest.
I like that I'm such a weird. Why would you say you're a weird person?
Because my friends always tell me, "Do you know how weird you are?" Like, I've just learned to accept that I'm such a weird person.
But I think all people look at creatives as weird, which is wrong. But because creatives think differently, you know, from engineers, and you know, they think so differently.
Everything is different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a favorite color or favorite food. I find it hard to it's not fair. Like, why would I only like yellow when there's green, blue, and pink? What's wrong with them? So like, but my favorite color for today, I'm gonna say yellow.
Yellow.
And I even got the yellow pants.
And even have the yellow pants as well, you know?
Yeah.
I think if I could fit in those, I'd just ask you to just leave them.
This is part of my chef jacket line. So I have a line of chef jackets, custom made. So every single chef jacket and like anything African that you see me wear belongs to my brand. So that's like a little other division of the...
Oh, talk to me about your other brand before we close.
So I started... I didn't like the whole white or black. I want to stand out. And so my sister and my mom started making me custom-made chef jackets each time I would have an event. And then it just started, when I would post online, people would like them. And they'll be like, how can we order? So I've shipped to Paris. I've shipped to Mexico. I've created things for hotel chains. And with these ones, I'm just testing them out as a run to see if they're comfortable, if my team is going to... Because now that I have a team, the business has grown. we gotta, you know, everyone has to look uniform, but also cool at the same time. So just testing them out.
Oh wow, that's really, I love that. I love the fact that they have to be comfortable and look cool as well.
Yeah,
that's really, really good. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you reading currently?
I started reading 21 Laws of Power again, because it's such a slow read, because it's such a boring book. But then it's very, you gotta always freshen up your mind, and especially in terms of books like that. What else am I reading? I would do a lot of, instead of reading, which is bad, read. I watch a lot of podcasts, just so people talking and just a random stuff. But then it's so funny, like, I like to sit in silence. So I have a TV, but I don't use it. Because the kitchen is always banging, da 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 da. Everything is always loud for me, so I don't really anything to do with loud things.
No, you like the silence. Oh, it's that's interesting. And podcasts are good as well. I actually find that sometimes, which is why, like we say, moments is life lessons, because I find that sometimes we learn more from someone's life lesson than actually reading. Because when you hear it come from someone else, that this is what's happened, you think, oh yeah. You know, and it's easier. Or if you're going through something and someone tells you how they came out of that, you think, okay, so I can work through this, you know.
But one thing, I just remembered, Will Smith's book. I've just started reading that. Not because of the Bad Boys movie that came out. It was just, it was always sitting there. And his story is actually quite inspirational. Will Smith.
Oh, Will Smith. Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
So I've just started reading that.
How's the read?
It's an easy read. It's light, and he tells his story in a way like, yo, put some respect on this man. That's why he is Will Smith. That literally. So it's very motivational and inspirational.
Oh, okay. That's really. What's your all-time favorite movie that you've watched?
Wait until Excel.
I'm sure a lot of people will agree. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with you.
Yeah.
And your favorite food? I know you know when you ask for a chef, like, what's your favorite? I know, right? Like, chef, what's your favorite food? Why can you not have a favorite? I don't understand that. Why?
Mashed potatoes.
Really?
Yeah. I love mashed potatoes.
But they're so bland.
No. You haven't had my mashed potatoes. That's the thing.
No, we have to have a mashed potato date.
Yeah.
We have to have a mashed potato
yes.
date. We're gonna put that on the calendar.
Yes.
But this was your last day on earth.
It's not touch wood.
No, not today. No. Yeah. You are about to transition. What is the one thing that you'll be happy to say, you know what, God, I'm ready to go because I have what?
I'm ready to go because the people that I have responsibilities over are good. Like, I've created a brand that they can make money off, like royalties. They're still good. Then that's when I know I'm good, because I've got responsibilities and people that I have to take care of.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, God. Who's your biggest inspiration? Who's inspired you the most in your life?
Besides myself? And my mom, obviously, that's on the top. Besides myself and my mom, because I have confidence in myself. Anyone that's just winning and daring to just think outside the box. Like, waking up every day and just choosing, like, even to take a bath or even brush your teeth, that's like because life is hard. And I'm not saying if you wake up and you just brush your teeth, like, that's okay. No, we must aim for higher. But then anyone who's just not giving up, because things are hard, even mentally. A lot of people are going through a lot of mental health issues that they don't even know that they're going through. And just not giving up. Yeah.
You actually kind of like part answer the next question that I was asking you, that I was going to ask you to say, how do you keep going, especially in an industry where sometimes, you know how Zim is, and you're in this industry, it's different. It's totally different from what people normally want. How do you keep yourself going, you know, especially in those tough times? What is it that keeps your spirit up?
What keeps on motivating me is that my goal, I want to bring back the culture of celebrity chefs in Zim. And I know that I'm building the bridge that the chefs are going to walk over. So changing the game, that's what keeps on motivating me. Like, each time we just go higher and higher as a chef. Like, take for example, when I did the Forbes Summit, I was not only the only chef speaking on a panel, but then also for the first time, a chef who cooked for the whole Forbes thing, and it was vegan. So changing the game and just continuing to make sure that the bridge that I'm building is solid. Yeah.
Tell me about that, Forbes, because I loved it. I thought that was really interesting. What you guys did while you were there, and how that impacted your life.
Yeah, that's crazy. So my relationship with Forbes started like this. A few years ago, they approached me for the 30 under 30, and then they asked for my age, and I didn't qualify. And then it was such a blessing because on that they still put me on in that particular month magazine for the 30 under 30, but then they gave me a 4-page spread about my brand. And everyone else on the 30 under 30, they had like a paragraph, but with me, because I was 31 at the time, they gave me a 4-page spread for the brand. So this was a couple of years ago, and the relationship has always, they check in, what are you doing? And then now, when they had their summits in Botswana, they reached out to me and they're like, would you want to be a part of a panel and speak about your brand? And then also, would you want to do a live cooking session? So because of that, the relations that I made and the networking opportunities that I got are lifelong. And one thing that I did make sure is that we don't go alone. So I went with, when I say we don't go alone, as in when you're succeeding, don't walk alone. Like, take people, build bridges, but then think smart. So when they invited me, it was obviously expenses paid, etc. So I have to give a shout out to this young woman called Nicole Jamu. She's in media, and then Asha, who's also in media. They came along with me, and it was the three of us just networking and speaking to people about our brand, and also raising the Zimbabwean flag in a way that is just in a positive light. And I was very proud of myself. The ripple effect is still happening even till today. And it's being at that summit taught me, like, yo, okay, God has bigger plans for me, because it's not like I have $1 million business, but look at me speaking at the Forbes Summit. Yeah.
And just wait, as you're talking, I'm just thinking, how can you motivate someone out there, like these young kids who are thinking, let me do normal stuff. And then there you are, you're doing something different. Yeah. Oh yeah, like being normal. Let me just university, become a CA, become a lawyer, yeah, you're out of the box. Can you say something to someone who's thinking of doing something different and they're scared?
They're going to laugh at you. They're going to tell you that as could make sense. They're going to tell you that as Zimbabweans, this is not us. When you're not, how dare you have a dream? They're going to tell you all of these things, but what's in here, like, you have to have like this, like, a show-offy kind of Kanye West mentality with your brand. And that Kanye West mentality must stay within. It mustn't come out, but then that's the way that you must deal with it, because people are going to try to bring you down. And remember, love your family. Your friends and family are there for loving, not for you to be discussing business opportunities or whatever, because it needs separation. So depend on yourself.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
We're packing our bags. Packing our bags. We have our passports and we're going to the airport. Where are we going?
Right now, I'm going to be biased at Cape Town, because it's such a metropolitan city. You've got a little bit of every culture there. And if I wanted to pack my bags and go to New York right now, it would be such a struggle. I would love to go back, but now you just can't walk there. So it'll either be Dubai. I went to Spain, beautiful country. But Cape Town, that's realistic. That's on the budget, Auntie. Yeah.
Cape Town. We're going to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Chef Kola, it's been amazing having you. Just your open-mindedness and your creativity is mind-blowing. And I think we need a lot more young people.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that you said you're building bridges. And that's really, really important. Just one last thing to our viewers as we close off. What's your last word?
Thank you for watching. Honestly, is this the camera? Yeah, I would. Thank you so much for watching. Please follow me on social media at African Vegan on a Budget. It's very essential to grow everything organically, and come to one of my dinners, pop-ups. I don't even know how to do this. Someone would have done it so classy, like, me, I'm just like all over the place.
No. That's what we love about this podcast. It has to be natural. It has to be organic. It has to be authentic. So as you go out during the week, please don't forget to support Chef Kola. And remember what she said, that you must believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself. And remember, whatever you can think about, whatever you dream, you can do it. So enjoy your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.